Strategies for Innovation. My name is Kerri Burchill and I'm a doctoral fellow at Eastern Michigan University. In today's presentation, I'm going to share with you a qualitative study that I'm involved in, a description of the study, its context, strategies for innovation that are applicable to your personal and professional lives, as well as application of the theory of the U. This qualitative study takes place in the Faculty Development Center at Eastern Michigan University. A group of dedicated professors and professionals have come together to develop an innovative teaching and learning program at Eastern Michigan University. When we came together, we started to recognize all of the complexities that are impacting teaching and learning on campus. There are budget cuts that we all struggle with. There's a changing profile of students in higher ed. And the influx of technology that's ever-changing creates quite a rat race for everyone on campus. And the irony about the rat race is even when we're all pushing hard, and we may even come in first in the rat race, at the end of the day, we're still rats. We had to ask ourselves, how can we develop innovation amidst this crazy rat race? We recognized that we all had brilliant ideas, and that our faculty and teaching staff on campus also have brilliant ideas. But how do we tease out these brilliant ideas amidst the rat race? We started looking at how thinking occurs. Psychologists describe humans' pattern of thinking as one that often involves dichotomizing. When we come across information, we categorize it as good or bad, useful, not useful, something I'll turn to later, or something I can incorporate now. In fact, when we come across information for the first time, we tend to categorize things. And as soon as we categorize them, we kind of leave them in that category. And these categories create our assumptions and our views of the world. Let me give you an example. Here are some notes that I took at a recent meeting. And as I reviewed my notes, I kind of laughed at myself because, clear as day, I was categorizing the information that I thought was important in this meeting. You can see I've circled number 1 and 2, but not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had a limited view of this information. I looked at it only through my own lens, my own assumptions, and how I categorized the importance of the information. Now, why do we do that? Well, it's just a little easier to think in the box. It's much harder to identify those obstacles that are getting in the way of us seeing the broader landscape. I sometimes think of an old, comfortable couch. It just feels better laying on that thing than it does to get out and find a replacement. Peter Senge, Otto Schwarmer, Joseph Jaworski, and Betty Sue Flowers in their book Presence talk about reactive thinking. In a meeting, if someone proposes an idea that is different from your thinking, you have a couple of ways you respond. 1, you could just not bother, it's not worth the energy to engage. 2, you could defend your thinking, which is really defending your assumptions and the way you see the world. Or lastly, you could agree with what has been said, which is also confirming that your assumptions and the way you view the world align with whatever was said. What really needs to happen for innovation is for all of us to get out of our comfort zone, off of that comfortable couch, and find that new space where magic happens. The first strategy to become innovative is to develop norms amongst the team that is developing innovative practice. And by norms, I'm suggesting that you develop a culture where everyone agrees to call each other on their assumptions. Now, this isn't to create judgment. It's to help each other examine how they categorize and view the world. Maybe we have new information where those categories are no longer appropriate or fitting. We can help each other question our assumptions and get out of our reactive thinking by asking open-ended questions such as, can you tell me a little bit more about the thinking that led you to this conclusion? What sort of data do you have to back up where you're coming from? By asking open-ended questions, the other person or persons need to think about what drove them there. Sometimes our assumptions are leaps without a lot of ground to explain where we came from. A second strategy in developing innovative practice is to record the meetings. Now, this may sound like a simple strategy. It is unbelievable how powerful the transcription of these meetings becomes. We need to slow down and honor the voices and the information shared in our meetings. By slowing down, we can actually have time and headspace to review our own assumptions and how we categorize things. The theory of the you is introduced in the book Presence. There are 3 stages in the theory of the you. The first, sensing, where individuals observe what is happening or observe what they are studying. In this case, we observe teaching and learning as it's happening on campus at Eastern Michigan University. And rather than just seeing teaching and learning through our own experiences in our own departments, we slowed down and started looking deeper. We had to extend and push ourselves beyond our own assumptions of what we believe happens to see what is truly happening. Presencing is the next stage, where people retreat and reflect on all of this observation data that they've collected. Lastly is realizing, where things come together, given all the knowledge that is being gathered and analyzed in the sensing and presencing stages. And in realizing, groups often describe coming to clarity quickly, that things just flow together. An important piece of the theory of the you and innovation is that groups or individuals don't go through these stages once. They describe going through sensing, presencing, and realizing multiple times before innovation or clarity may come. Without question, there is a power and magic and synergy that can happen when groups presence themselves, when they put aside their reactive thinking and come to deeper levels of understanding. Let me conclude with one stanza from a poem written by the elders of the Hopi Nation in 2000, entitled "To My Fellow Swimmers." The poem concludes, "All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration, for we are the ones we have been waiting for." I'm going to conclude